Oh, good afternoon. Another thought for the day. You know, it's funny how we get embroiled in conversation. I'm looking at my comments, and if you go there, you'll understand why. You know, many countries around the world have visas, and many people come from all around the world, and they obtain initially visas to stay in different countries, sometimes for work, sometimes for holidays, and sometimes for longer periods like retirement. Here in the Philippines, there's basically, and I say basically because I know there's a few other ones like business and work and all that type of thing. But fundamentally, there's tourist visa, which enables you to renew your visa now, currently every 2 months, and up to a period of 3 years. Then you do what is famously called the visa run. Many people talk about visa runs in Thailand and Cambodia, places like that too. But here, that's what it's referred to by many. Then you have what we call a 13A visa. Now, a 13A visa is basically because you're married to a Filipino citizen. Now, you could say it's probably the easiest visa to obtain because what have you got to do? Just got to marry a Filipino. And, sorry, Filipina, not a Filipino, man, woman. And then there's the other one, the one that is, I suppose, a little bit more controversial in the sense that you're buying your visa stay here, in a sense. You are agreeing to deposit 10,000 American dollars or equivalent. And of course, if you're a person with military history, in other words, you've served time in the military, it was designed effectively for, in a sense, for Americans to come here. I know it doesn't actually stipulate that it's just for Americans. It's for anybody who has had a period of time in the military. After all, like America, the Philippines is very military uh, friendly, let's put it that way. And so you could say you could buy your way into the Philippines by paying your 10,000 plus the fees, or 1,500 plus the fees. And the money will sit, certainly the $10,000 will sit in a government nominated bank account until such time as you can demonstrate that you're going to put it into either a leasehold property or fundamentally a condominium. Now, I think in America the current president is talking about a visa that where you have to put, I believe, 5 million American dollars or somewhere like that, some astronomical amount. But it's designed for very wealthy people who are prepared to bring their money to America. So likewise, they're buying their way into America. Now, of course, there's a lot of things going on around about expats. My idea of an expat is not necessarily a definition based upon Google or defining in Google in the Oxford English Dictionary. It's based upon everyday lingo. When you have a group of guys together having a drink in a bar, they're either referred to as a group of expats or they're referred to as a bunch of foreigners. Either way you want to put it. And nobody gets too upset about it unless you're a certain person. And I can understand where they're coming from because if you've married a Filipina, there is a tendency to feel that somehow maybe you're above a person who is an expat. And I say an expat because an expat, in their definition, is someone who's just come here temporarily. Maybe a tourist, maybe someone who's decided to stay here. But I'd like to point out that there are a lot of expats here in the Philippines. And the reason I say that is because many of them can't marry their partners and their girlfriends because they're already married. So they will remain an expat. Now, they're on 2 monthly replacement of their visa. If the relationship goes sour, they're still on their 2-month visa. And when I say 2-month renewable visa. Now, for somebody who somehow thinks it's easier and better, they come here or they meet her overseas, and because they're now married officially to their wife, got a piece of paper, they are now considered migrants, immigrants, permanent residents. I'm afraid permanent is not quite the permanence it might seem, because if, for argument's sake, you and your lovely wife of maybe 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, decide to separate, then if you're here in the Philippines with her, I'm afraid I've got news for you. You're as permanent and as flexible as a person who is here on a tourist visa, because that's exactly what you'll go back to. Unless, of course, you have 10,000 American dollars and can change your 13A visa, which is married to a Filipina, and then you don't have a problem, because as long as you stay out of trouble with the law, you will be required or allowed to stay in the country. But remember, you have to remember, very much so, you have to abide by the laws. And as we and many other channels have pointed out, there are a lot of very obscure laws. And you will find that you, as a foreigner, whether you're an immigrant, expat, whether you're an SRRV, are still subject to the laws of the land. And like anybody who's anywhere in the world, if they choose to relinquish or deny you the renewal of your visa, after all, an SRRV is a visa. A 13A is a visa. In other words, it can be taken away as quickly as it can be given. In fact, probably quicker. Because if you split from your wife, you will end up having to, more than likely, initially go on to what is classed as a tourist visa. So you'll have to renew it every 2 months. So guys, rather than get hot under the collar about someone being an expat, someone being a migrant, and someone being a permanent resident, after all, an SRRV is a permanent resident, as is a 13A. But again, as I say, each one of those 3 classes can be asked to leave at any point. So really, how permanent are you when you come to the Philippines? Well, we're as permanent as we want to be good boys. And, that's what it boils down to. Now, when you consider coming to the Philippines and you think, well, that's ridiculous, that's ludicrous, that's crazy, maybe it is. But many of us don't let it worry us. We get on with our lives and we just hope that we stay on the right side of the law and we have a good long-term relationship with a great retirement. And that's my thought for the day. Don't get hung up on whether you're an expat, whether you're an immigrant, or whether you're top of the line, top of the table, an SRRB, special retirement visa. Sounds good, doesn't it? It almost sounds like there's a little bit of snobbery going around. Maybe? After all, the only reason many of you are on maybe a tourist visa for a long time is simply your wife is already married. And the only reason that you're not married to her probably is because you don't want to pay a catastrophic amount of money, colossal amount, to get what they call as annulment. Just not worth the effort. And after all, things can go wrong very easily. So that's my thought for today. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Come on, guys. You can't have 1,000 views and only 30 thumbs up. It doesn't cost anything to press that like button. So please don't forget to press that like button. You don't have to subscribe, but please give us a thumbs up. Bye now.